Hi people, it's me again, Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon and Queen Lioness. I'm live on my IG page right now, Queen Lionessa, because I can't go live on the Renaissance Amazon page, which is my main Instagram page because I have blocks. I haven't been able to go live there for the longest. But once I am done with this video, I will save it, repost it, and to my other IG and to my YouTube. Okay, the Renaissance Amazon. So make sure you follow me on all platforms. I just wanted to do a quick video this afternoon. This has been on my mind a lot, but I want to talk about women are sexual beings, okay? Because it seems that I hear a lot of conversations lately, and it's probably more so lately because I don't usually surround myself with people who think like this. I feel like I'm around people with more elevated thinking. But it seems to me that a lot of men don't understand that women too are sexual beings, okay? Men are sexual beings, women are sexual beings. A lot of men think that, men will perpetuate this thing, and women perpetuate it too. A lot of women are gatekeepers for this patriarchal madness. But this idea, this myth that, men love variation. Men love variation and variety when it comes to women and sex and stuff, right? But so do women. Because if you go in a sex toy store, most of those toys are for women. There's all kinds of varieties, all kinds of lengths and thickness and vibrations and this and that and blah, 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 blah. Women love variety too. Women just don't speak about that much because they've been, they've been indoctrinated by religion. A lot of women have, might have been sexually abused. Because I'm going to say one difference between men and women. I know so many men. Okay, so many men who told me that when they were little boys, some teenage girl or some grown woman was touching them or having sex with them or giving them head or doing something like that. And I've only known like one or two men who seemed disturbed by it. And the men who seemed disturbed by it were like really little. Like I knew someone who was like, he said he was like 3, like he was little. And his mother's friend was doing something to him and that messed with his head. But most boys, like they are not bothered by that. They're not traumatized by it. I don't really understand it because as a woman, I have never wanted to mess with no little boy. When I was a teenage girl, I did not want to mess with no little boy. I actually like men who are older than me, not younger, not like way younger than me, right? So I don't understand that. But it is a phenomenon, right, that happens. Only thing is when it happens the other way around and it's a teenage boy messing with a little girl or a grown man messing with a little girl, people are like, oh, that's wrong, that's molestation. And women do seem really forever damaged from that, right? And so there's a lot of women who've been sexually abused, and that also it distorts their sexuality and their ideas about sex, and then they have all these blockages and issues, right? But, so all that has to be considered and put into context. But at the end of the day, women like good sex too, okay? And I hear these relationship conversations where, men are constantly talking about, oh, if a woman doesn't want to have sex with you, if she's not, putting in the work, if she's always telling you no because she's tired, and then men cheat, then that's why they cheat. And I hear a lot of women who might be married to men who, have been cheating on them, and they're like, oh, that's what men do, but it's wrong if I go do that. And a lot of women, kind of egg that on. But, I mean, I'm not a man, okay? But I have a lot of male friends, all right? And I have one really good friend of mine. He's like one of my best friends, actually. Very well-endowed man. And he tells me all his business, right? He tells me all his business. And I know that, he lives a life of privilege. I would call it big dick privilege, okay? Because all the time, all right, he has all types of women, gorgeous women, all kinds of ages, young, older, whatever, who want a piece of him. Some of these women are married, okay? But they use him like he's a toy. He's had strippers pass him around. That didn't offend him. He's literally had stripper friends, nursing friends who passed him around because they were like, look at this shit. Oh, all my friends gotta have it, right? Which actually, in indigenous societies, that's how it was. Okay, they thought you holding your body to yourself was selfish, right? And it's funny because I also have a friend, a woman who one day she was having a breakdown on the phone. Yes, big dick privilege. She was having a breakdown on the phone because she's like, yo, where are all the big dicks at? Like, you know, some women like men who are well endowed. Okay, no offense, I'm just saying. So she was just like saying how she couldn't find none, and she was all frustrated. And then she's like, you know, but she's like, women, well, she was saying that men who are well endowed are for the streets. They're for the streets. They are for the streets, right? Because, and it's funny because when she was saying this, she was talking to our friend, you know, who we're friends with, and he is for the streets. That's, you know, he's an older man and he is, but he's a good person. But it's like chicks are like, because you know why? Because women are sexual too. And they see him, it's like, oh my God, they may have never seen that in their whole life. You know what I'm saying? And they want a piece of it. And then they want more again. Okay? So that's real. He has this perspective. And I'll hear conversations where it decides matter, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, a lot of women like to stroke men's egos and, oh, no, it doesn't matter. It's this, it's that. And a lot of men don't think it matters as much or whatever. And, you know, but somebody like him, you know, it's like from his perspective, he's got all kinds of things because he's not even a loser dude. He's not spending a whole bunch of money on chicks. Like none of that. He has a great personality and he has big dick privilege. And it's like he attracts women who like sex. Like he doesn't even have a lot of the problems that a lot of men have dealing with women, right? Because you have a lot of women who don't really like sex. You have a lot of women who are using sex to manipulate a dude or get something from him. Or they're like, if I have sex with him, you know, he's not going to want to be with me. Or they're trying to get him to marry, or they're trying to manipulate him somehow. So that they think if I have sex with him, I'm going to lose my value, and all these games, right? But chicks that ain't about the games, and chicks that, you know, there's a lot of chicks out here that just like the sex. You know what I'm saying? They're not holding up with all that. So the thing about it is that, you know, and then in relationships, you know, there are plenty of men who are not holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Like sexually, you know, like there are a lot of men with erection issues. There are a lot of men, the genitalia is not up to par. You know, their skills aren't good. They may not be good at going down on her. They may not have a lot of stamina. Their sex drive may not be strong enough. They got testosterone issues. There's a lot of different things. So I just feel like, you know, men need to understand, like, there's differences between men and women, for sure, okay? For sure, we are not the same. But there's a lot of similarities between us, too. And one of those similarities is that we are just as sexual as men, okay? It's just that women aren't that vocal about it because the way societies, the world, not just America, but a lot of the world, you know, punishes women who are sexual, in tune with their sexuality, express their sexuality. A lot of women just really want a man by their side. They want a man, they were raised to find a man to take care of them. So they're going to put that on the back burner just for this security right here. And then some of those women may just be unhappy in silence, or some of those women are doing something behind the dude's back. And I don't know why men don't think, like, it's always this narrative that's put out that, oh, men cheat, you know, and, you know, that's what men do. But women do too, because a lot of men have had sex with somebody's wife or girl, okay? So it's not just men, it's just that men get caught more. Then people will say, you know, I forgot what I was about to say. I just don't like that, and I'm not saying that cheating is right. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about reality. I'm just being real. I'm just saying, oh yeah, people will say that women cheat because of emotional issues, because of emotions, because they feel like they're not getting enough attention. No. There's women who cheat because they just don't like having sex with you like that. There's women who cheat because the sex is whack. And there's men who cheat for emotional issues, too. There's men who cheat because they feel like this woman is paying him more attention. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why men and women cheat for the same reasons, okay? There are men who have a great woman at home and they cheat. There's women that got a great man at home and they cheat. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying nothing is right or whatever. I'm just saying that men and women both are sexual beings. Men and women both have sexual needs. And I think a lot more women are obsessed with, you know, the sexual needs of their man than the other way around. I'm not saying everybody, okay? Because there's some smart men out there that understand that it's important to have their skills up so that she's not thinking about nobody else, that she don't want nothing else. There's a lot of men that understand that. You know, and there are women who, you know, do everything and a man still cheats. So I'm just saying, and this is again going back to monogamy being natural. A lot of people are playing games. There are people who are legit monogamous people and they're not doing a bunch of extra shit. But I feel like they're the minority. I feel like most people who are so caught in a monogamous relationship, whether it be marriage or otherwise, are doing something else, having secret desires, really not satisfied, sneaking around or whatever. So I'm just saying, and this relationship conversation that I consistently hear is all about women just want security. But if that was true, that women just wanted security, you wouldn't see women taking care of grown-ass dudes. There'd be dudes who ain't doing a goddamn thing, and they getting taken care of by women. And it's probably because he's probably blowing her back out, and she really values that. Because maybe she sees, you know, there's a dude that has all the money and da-da-da, but the sex is whack. You know, ideally it's good to have all of that in one person, right? But I'm just talking about the reality of it. I'm just saying nobody wants to actually, you know, speak the truth on this. They're dancing around the topic. I was in a conversation on Clubhouse, and this man was talking about, you know, how he was talking to a therapist friend of his, and his therapist friend was telling him that he has all these female clients who cheated on their husband. And he's saying on Clubhouse, he's like, why would they do that? They have a good man at home who's paying all the bills, and he's a good dude. Why would women cheat on him? And I'm like, well, is anybody forgetting the sex part? Maybe the sex is whack. Okay, let's observe the obvious. That's the thing I talk about. Let's observe the obvious. Because on the same you know wave, I hear men all the time talking as if they feel like because he's paying all the bills. There's a lot of men that feel like, oh, if I'm paying the bills and I'm the head of the household and I'm making sure everything's taken care of, and I cheat, that she should just be quiet about it because she's taken care of. So they almost feel like because they're paying all the bills, they could do whatever they want, and that woman shouldn't say anything about it. And some women feel like that too. But if you're paying all the bills and the sex is whack, that woman may not be signing up for a life of bad sex the rest of her life. There are women who marry rich men and they be cheating every time he's out of town or every time she's out of town. So I'm just saying, like, you said, what if she just likes dick? I mean, some people, yeah, that's true too. That's what I was going to say with men or women. Like, sometimes it's not even that people are unsatisfied. Sometimes they just want something else. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of life and nature. And people get shamed for that. You know what I'm saying? If a woman just likes dick, or a dude, you know, really loves beautiful women, which I can understand that. Everybody, you know, gets penalized for it because we live in this post-colonial society of everything has to be like heterosexual, monogamous, this, and you're wrong. You're a bad person if you're thinking about something else or wanting to do something else. So, you know, I'm just saying, okay, women are sexual beings too. You know, there are men who have the capacity to love multiple women. There's women who have the capacity to love multiple men, okay, or desire them or whatever. So I just want to say that that's one of the ways that men and women are alike, okay? But people rarely say that. People consistently hear men say, women cheat because of emotional reasons, and men cheat because, you know, they just want to they like variety. Dude, somebody needs to, I just want to bust these dudes' bubbles. Like, dude, wrong, okay? There are women that also cheat because they like variety, and there are men who also cheat because of emotional reasons, okay? That goes both ways. Men love sex and variety, and so do women. A woman who's balanced, I think that, yeah, society shouldn't tell us how our relationship should look. I agree with you. And, you know, I hear these conversations more and more. You know, these people with these limited ideas of what's masculine and these limited ideas of what's feminine. And, you know, like if you're a woman who is proactive about your life, about your business, about your sexuality, oh, you're being inappropriate and you're being masculine. ridiculous. Women been bosses. Check the historical record. That's not masculine. Women been leaders. Check the historical record. That's not masculine. And smart men been knowing they need to listen to women. And women need to listen to men, okay? I think that men, specialize in physical protection, physical dangers, physical threats. And I feel like men are better at that than women. If I'm ever around a man, and I learned this from my dad, and I'm someplace and this man tells me, move over here, sit over here, let's go this way. I'm not questioning it because I know he probably sees some shit that I don't see, right? And when it comes to spiritual stuff, like the unseen world, people around you that you shouldn't fuck with, deals that you shouldn't get involved with, whatever, I feel like women are better at that. So that's the way that we can complement each other. We do have differences. We do, our brains are wired differently. But there's a lot of things about us that's similar. And that is one of the things that is similar. We are both sexual beings. Women have desires just as much as men. Some women have more desires than men. It's just that most women are not going to speak up about it and be real about it because they've been indoctrinated by religion. Okay, so it's not this natural thing that women just want security and women don't really care about sex. That's not natural. That's indoctrination. Okay, so there's religious indoctrination. There's a lot of women who've been sexually abused. Okay, and they have all kinds of warped ideas about sex and sexuality. And then you have a lot of women with daddy issues, and that also affects it because then they might be so desperate for a man to love them that they start playing all kinds of manipulation games because they need to have a man by their side to feel fulfilled. So none of that is coming from a real and balanced place. When you're talking to women who are empowered, don't care about what people think, are being real, you're going to get different responses and answers. Okay? So I'm just saying, this narrative that women aren't, as sexual as men is just ridiculous. Okay? It's ridiculous. So I'm going to, and I just feel like it's the elephant in the room all the time. Because I'm just like, if I hear another goddamn conversation, I mean, there's men that I've liked a lot that were crazy about me. But sexually, this shit just was weak. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. Yeah, it's nice to be in love and have a partner and everything. But sex matters, okay? Sexual compatibility matters. I'm not going to be one of those women that's all old and dried up, okay? Because that's what happens. You get dried up. And then come on. It messes with your life force, your chi, and everything else. So I think I talked enough. I'm done. If you watch this video, you can't generalize the characteristics of a person based on their gender. That's true to an extent. That is true to an extent. And that's something that I've been studying all my life is what's masculine, what's feminine. Because I have a twin brother. I share the womb with a boy. My other half is a male. I'm bisexual, so I'm very much, attracted to women. I deal with women and I deal with men. So in my mind, I've always questioned what's masculine, what's feminine. And you're right. In some ways, you can't generalize the characteristics of a person. But there's certain things I've noticed about men, right? That's distinct to men. I feel like men don't gravitate towards, exercising and healing in groups, but women do. Okay. Men usually gravitate towards exercise and healing solo, whereas women usually gravitate towards groups. Like for me, I don't gravitate towards a group when it comes to exercise. Like I don't need to work out with people, right? But a lot of girls are like that. Men, I feel like, are very visual. But a few years ago, I learned that women are more visual than I think, especially women who work with nanny eggs. Women who work with nanny eggs, I've seen their whole personality change and all that fronting go out the window because it really arouses their kundalini. And then they start acting a lot more like dudes maybe. But I feel like, in my life, men are always asking me for pictures, okay? And men that I've known, friends of mine, dudes I'm talking to, whatever, they always want some goddamn pictures. And that's the reason why I started my OnlyFans page or was Connect Pal at first. Because I'm like, I don't have, in my regular life, I'm not thinking about sending no goddamn pictures to people. Unless I'm in a relationship with you, I'm not doing that, okay? But I'll put the pictures up here in one place, charge a fee. So I get paid for my time to even be bothered of thinking about a damn picture and posting pictures. But I'm not going to sit here and send pictures to everybody that wants my pictures. No. And something about male psychology, they always want new photos. Like, men are always like, oh, so you take that picture just now? Like, something about it being now. And then men say a lot of things about, I want a picture that nobody else has seen. I've never heard a woman say that. I mean, maybe some man out here has heard a woman say that. I haven't. Okay. I'm not going to promise, unless you're paying for this photo, I'm not sending a picture to anybody that, oh, nobody's ever seen before, because I might decide to do something else with that picture. I might decide to post it on Instagram one day or wherever. It's my damn picture. You don't own my pictures. You know what I'm saying? But men always say stuff like that. I don't understand what that's about. What is it about male psychology that you want to see a picture nobody else has seen? What is it about male psychology that you want to see a picture that's new, is now, that it was taken just for you? I don't know. So those are some of the differences. I feel like men also will spend money on seeing what they want to see. Like, there's way more men who go to strip clubs to see women than there are women who go to strip clubs to see men. There's way more men spending money to go to paid sites than there are women spending money for that, okay? Men are a lot more proactive with stuff like that. So that's one of the differences between men and women. Men usually aren't as good at multitasking as women, unless they're gay, okay? Gay men tend to be better at it. But, straight men, no. Like, they usually cannot, I'm not saying all, maybe like 5% can. But most of them can't multitask like women. So, like, there's some deep differences that I understand. But for the most part, generally, you can't really characterize based on someone's gender, because, there's women with crazy, insatiable sex drives, and there's men with crazy, insatiable sex drives. So there's men who might feel like, oh, women can't keep up with me. But there's women who feel like men can't keep up with me. You know what I'm saying? So that shit goes both ways. And then somebody was asking me, do women lie to each other in group settings? No, I think men do that. There's another difference between men and women. Men will brag on who they had sex with. Women don't usually talk about who they had sex with like that. Not unless it's like a group of really just wild women, which I love wild women, they're my favorite, who just don't give a fuck. Okay, then they might, like my friend who gets passed around. Those chicks that mess with him, they be talking because they be passing him around, right? But I think, but then it's weird, because if it's the other way around, if a dude has sex with a woman and her box is really good, and they tell all their friends, like, people look at that in a negative way, like, oh, she got passed around, and it's negative when it's a woman, but when it's a man, it's not, right? But some of those women might have wanted that. Yeah, men want to see a new picture because they want to feel in control or in charge. Exactly. Yeah, the male ego is so ridiculous. A lot of men just really want to control women. Most men can't handle raw female sexuality. Like most men, if raw female sexuality was staring them in the face, it would scare the shit out of them. It would crush their ego. Most men could not handle it. Okay, so the male ego is very fragile to me. Okay. And people will say women are so emotional. I've known dudes who are more emotional than any chick I ever met, okay? So there's that. Then somebody asked me about sexual compatibility. And sexual compatibility is not just about sex drive. That's part of it. The other part of it is, like, you could have somebody who's like, they might be really into something that gets them off, that's really important. The other person's not into it. Like, let's say a woman is like, I'm not into a dude who doesn't go down on me. And this dude might be like, I never did it. I ain't never going to do it. I don't like it. Like, that's a big problem to me. I mean, somebody might decide to still be with it anyway, but that's a sexual compatibility issue to me. Especially if this woman, let's say this woman says, it's so important to me, it's the only way that I come, like, I need it, like, often. And this man is like, I'm not never doing it. To me, they're not sexually compatible. If you have a dude that's like, I really like a woman to go down on me and drink my nut, and this woman is like, I'm not about that life. I mean, sometimes people can compromise on certain things, but sometimes there's things that's so important to somebody sexually. And if you're with somebody who's really not about that, like a dude who's like obsessed, like, whatever woman I'm with has to have anal sex with me, and this woman is like, I don't want to do that. That's a sexual compatibility issue. So I feel like, being sexually compatible is very, very important. So it's about sex drive, and it's also about what you're into. It's about whether the skills match up. It's all that. And I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you could teach a person." Man, I don't know what world people are living in. Okay, but I know I'm a teacher in my personal. I have my professional life where I do teach. In my personal life, I don't want to teach nobody shit, because the thing that I've noticed. First of all, I have a very sensitive body, and I'm a cat spirit, right? So if you're not touching me right, I just want you to stop touching me. I'm not going to be like, let me try to teach you how to touch me, because what I've noticed in my long life is that that's never worked. Either a man knows how to tune in and touch and got the skills, or he don't. Because whenever I then try to explain, they either get too nervous and they shut down, or they just keep doing things, and they may be trying, but each time they try, they're doing shit that doesn't feel good. It's irritating the fuck out of me, and to the point where I'm like, okay, stop touching me. I can't, my body, I can't teach you on my body, okay? I can't do that. I just can't. And I don't want to. And it doesn't always work either. Like, people say, oh, you can just teach a person. No, you can't always just teach a person. Sometimes you can teach a person all damn day and they still don't get it. Like, I've seen people in dance classes I've been studying Haitian folkloric dance since 2006. I remember there's people who've been in that dance class also since 2006. They still can't dance. They still got no coordination. They still look a hot mess. They be in there trying, but so this idea that you could just teach somebody how to have sex with you right is like, that's delusional to me. And I'm not about that life. Like, no. You know how I'm gonna teach? If you approach me right and you're paying attention and you're tuned in and you pay attention to my body's reactions, that's how you learn. But if you ain't, doing things right and it's irritating me, we gotta stop. But I'm not teaching you anything. Okay? Too grown for that. Now, these older women who are messing with these younger boys, they must like that. I will never understand that. I will never understand why teenage girls or grown women want to mess with little boys. I would never understand why a 35-year-old woman wants to mess with a 22-year-old. Like, I don't get that. Because I remember when I was in my 20s, when I was in my early to mid 20s, I remember thinking that older men had more sexual stamina than younger men and had more skills. I never thought it was the young dudes, okay? Because men and women, you learn and you get better with experience, okay? And you could say women mature faster than men. So then why would a grown woman want to mess with some kid or some just got grown or teenage boy? Like, I don't really understand that at all. But I think that's also a control thing. And I think that, I don't get it. So maybe those women like to teach. Maybe there's women out there who do like to teach a dude. But I'm not the one. I teach you in my classes and watch my videos, but I ain't teaching you my personal life on my body. Not gonna happen. And maybe that works for some people, but I'm just saying people say it like it's a sure shot that, oh, if you love somebody, you can just teach them how to please you. So I hear women, I don't ever hear men say this really. I hear women downplay the sex part because they're like, oh, I could just teach him if the sex is bad. I don't really think that's a good advice. That's taking a gamble. But then if people, be like, my sex life matters, and people kind of shame you, so. But I'm just saying, I'm done talking. I'm just saying, women are sexual beings, okay, just as much as men. A lot of women out here ain't telling the truth. A lot of women out here are too scared to speak because they don't want to be considered a hoe, or they've been indoctrinated by religion, or they got daddy issues, or they've been abused, or whatever, and then it warped their mind, so they're just not even being truthful. And in my work of teaching women working with nani eggs, if you don't know about nani eggs, some people call them yoni eggs, jade eggs. They're stone crystal eggs women work with vaginally. I've seen so many women transform with that and really start speaking their truth. And you know what? There's a connection between the vaginal canal, the vagina, and the throat and the mouth, okay? There's a connection between these two places. So I think whatever work they were doing down here got them to speak the truth. And a lot of women started getting raunchy and saying things, and you got that. A lot of women hold their sexual energy back because we're afraid of being judged or offending a dude. A lot of women are tiptoeing on a man's ego. Okay? And one last thing I'm going to say, the difference between men and women is like, a lot of times sexually, men will talk a lot about what they do and who they did it with. Like a lot of times when people find out that this chick who she had sex with, it's usually because men were talking, not the woman. It's usually the men. Women don't go bragging on everything they do because they're afraid people are going to say, oh, she's a hoe, she's a whore, she had sex with more than 5 men, she's a hoe. So a lot of women keep their mouth shut about that shit. And smart men who know how to keep their mouth shut will get more in life. Because women don't like dudes that be running off at the mouth. So if you shut the fuck up, you might get more. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, some of you open to learning from women. That's good. You should be open to learning from women. And some men might have potential to learn. But I'm just saying there's no guarantee that just because you try to teach somebody that they're actually going to master it. Okay? So I'm just saying I'm not about that life. That's no guarantee. So anyhow, I'm going to stop here. If you learned something from this, please like it. Please share it. Please leave your comments. If you're a woman, what are your thoughts? Like, just what are your thoughts? I always feel like when I'm done, there's something that I'm going to be like, I wish I would have said that. Let me just think real quick. Other thing too is this myth that women, I hear a lot of women say that they have to be in love with a man first before they have sex with him, or they have to have feelings for him first and all this stuff. And so that gets put out as the common narrative, but there's a lot of women who don't. Okay, just like men. Like I don't hear men say that. Like I've heard men say that a little bit, but I don't really hear men say like, oh, I have to be in love with her before I have sex with her, or but a lot of women say that. I don't really get that. Like for me, I'm not gonna ever have sex with somebody I don't like. So like if you're an asshole or I don't like you, I think that's toxic, right? But do I need to be in love? No. There's years in my life when I wasn't in love with anybody, but I still had sexual needs. I still got horny, still needed some good sex. And then some people say, oh, sex is better with people you're in love with. I mean, yeah, that could be true or not true. There's people I've been in love with, madly in love with, but the sex was just, it was okay. But how I felt about them made up for a little bit, but I was still unfulfilled. A lot of times the best sex I've had hasn't even been with people I've been in relationships with. You know what I'm saying? So, but of course, the ideal thing is if you have great sex with somebody who you're in love with and your heart's really involved, that's the ultimate. That's definitely the ultimate, right? But it's not, to me, it's not just a given that just because you care about this person, you love this person, is going to be the best sex ever. Like, or it's better than sex with somebody that you don't love. That's a myth, okay? And again, I think that a lot of women are coming from this place that they just really, are afraid to be alone and just want a man by their side. And so they just don't feel like they can really be real because he can't handle it. And they just condition themselves to just be quiet about that, accept what it is, whatever. But I'm a truth teller, so, So I'm going to end that here. And if you have anything you want to say, please do. Make sure you follow me on YouTube at The Renaissance Amazon. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to follow me on IG at The Renaissance Amazon. And my backup IG page, Queen Lionessa. Okay? Thanks for listening, guys. I'm going to go eat some food and go to the gym. And maybe go ice skating and get some work done. So have a good day, and thank you for listening. Bye.